All right, welcome to this special unannounced case study that we're going to be going in depth on with my good friend and student investor James Hall. So I want to welcome everybody that is listening to this. This is obviously recorded. We made this for you guys because we really wanted to share this information with you. James and I met a few months ago in Las Vegas, actually, at Noteworthy, and he told me what he was doing with several different things, and I wanted to get him on here because he's doing some great things. He's also using government loophole magic in a really cool way while he's in a different country, which we'll get into in just a second. And he recently just did a case study that took 6 hours from start to finish, and I really needed to get him on here so we could kind of discuss how he did this and to get everything going. So I wanted to go ahead and double check. James, are you with us, buddy?
I'm right here.
Cool. Well, really quick before we dive in and tell everybody a little bit about you, let me just quick give some legal mumbo jumbo on our earnings disclaimer here. So just let me kind of rattle this off here for you guys. The results we'll be sharing are not 100% a guarantee. This testimonial is based solely on the experience from the person being interviewed, and you are not 100% guaranteed to have similar results as you are not the person being interviewed. In order to achieve any results, you must take massive action, and James has definitely done that. So let me introduce you to James. This is James right here. James is 36 years old. He was born and raised in Boise, Idaho. He's been a business owner his entire adult life, world traveler. He's an options trader, partner on a major mixed-use development in Belize, and he's working on a sustainable virtual real estate business that can be managed part of the time from Belize using VAs and in one market assistant for physical presence. So James, welcome. There's a lot of interesting things about you. Great stuff that's going on in your life. Is there anything else that you want to share? I know you're doing some really cool stuff in Belize right now, but tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, Jason, thanks so much for having me on. Thank you for promoting me down to Noteworthy, too, by the way. That was a phenomenal event, and I never would have ended up down there had I not signed up and got enrolled with government loophole magic. And I'd never heard, surprisingly, I'd never heard about the event before that. And a big part of the reason why I went down is to meet you after seeing how clean your program was, and it was already working.
Very cool.
So yeah, I'm back in Boise now. Spend a lot of time back and forth from Belize, and I actually completed this deal while I was down there part of the time, and then part of the time here, I literally flew back in, went straight to the title company and signed the papers.
Nice.
And it was one of those type of deals. But it was clear from doing the deal that I could have completed the entire thing from down there, and that was really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's hop into it and kind of give everybody that's watching this right now a little overview of the property. And the property was on, is this correct, 5212 West Fairmont Avenue, and it was in Boise?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and this is the actual...
5-minute bike ride from...
What was that, buddy?
I was just going to say it's about Central Boise is about a 5-minute bike ride from Boise State University.
Oh, very cool.
Pretty good location.
Nice. They have a really cool football stadium.
Yeah, hardcore football town. Boise is.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the property.
Very cool.
Nothing,
and
nothing too fancy.
Yeah, it looks like a basic HUD deal.
Definitely does.
So let's kind of talk about the details here. I'll kind of just put them all out. So how many bedrooms, bathrooms was it? Was it a 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, or was it the other way around?
Yeah, it was a 3-2. I might have sent you the information backwards, but it was
It's all right.
3-2. It was actually a 3 and 1.5, really, technically. And
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of times HUD will put .5 bathrooms or whatnot. I think on this one they put that it was a 3-2, and then when you get into it, it was actually a 3 and 1.5. Uh, didn't seem to affect anything. Nobody to look at it was questioning anything there. So yeah, it was just older house, outdated. I mean, it had bus fuses in the electric system. Structurally it was okay. It reeked of cat pee big time. Had an enormous tree in the back that looked like it was. How it was not cracking the foundation up, I don't know.
Wow.
The thing had to go. And then when you looked at it, I put in the bids for this and got the winning bid on it. Having never seen it, I was in Belize, and when I did get some better photos of it, I was looking at, if you look at the house itself on the right side on this kind of a lower roof, what they had done is they had taken this older house, and most of the houses in this neighborhood actually they didn't have a garage, and so that was a hesitation in even getting it. That's obviously not a very good selling point. But most of the houses in this particular neighborhood, I just happen to know, had, they must have all done it around the same time, but they'd all taken their garages and turned them into an extra space in the house, a bonus room.
Huh.
And this is one of those houses. So if you look at the right side of the house, on the driveway side, that roof and that entire area right there used to be a garage, and they turned it into a living room and put a fireplace in it. And when they had built it, maybe didn't do the greatest job in that the roof was sagging a little bit on that side. It's a little bit dilapidated. And, I noticed that, and I don't know if the end buyer ever did. He never mentioned it, but they would have definitely had me questioning things, but he didn't seem to care at all. So, yeah, that's what it was. Had I seen it, I probably still would have gotten under contract, but that's the thing I like about these deals, that, I don't have time to do a whole lot of due diligence, especially on just a flip deal. And if I'm in another country, I can anyways, but the HUD property condition report gets you close enough.
Right.
It's not 100%, obviously, but it gets you close enough. So
Definitely. Now you got this house under contract October 1st, and you won the bid for 78,600. Is that correct?
Yeah, 78.6. Yeah, that's what it was. I contacted a realtor, and I contacted the broker off the website, the HUD Home Store site.
Yeah.
And he didn't even sound like he wanted to deal with me. He referred me off to one of his agents. And this agent, like a lot of agents, no offense to him, I love him, but he was trying to tell me how it was and how this would work and what HUD did around there and didn't do. And so I just tried to come as close as I could to what you guys trained on GLM. And he was trying to give me the bid way too much, and I had to get him to come down. And eventually I just told him, hey, look, I can bid through any agent I want, or I'll just get my own access. So he put the bid in. We actually got this one under contract at 88% net to HUD. So I didn't. Just so people listen to this know, this deal didn't come together the way that you guys really show in GLM. I didn't have the buyer lined up in advance. And I didn't get the discount that I normally would have held out for maybe in other markets. But that's kind of what these houses are getting in Boise. And I knew that there was enough. It was still at 70% of the ARV for the end buyer, so it was a great deal. But even at 88% net to HUD, just so people know, if that's where your market's at, I can get these 85, 88. If it's in this area of Boise, I can get rid of them all day long at that percentage. So.
And
realtor put the bid in, got it, and then I had to get him to, I'm on an island in Belize. I had to get him to send all my paperwork for me, overnight it and everything, and he was fighting me a little bit, but we got it done. And now he's all fired up about doing a bunch of them, obviously. So.
Well, yeah, he barely probably did any work on it. Made a commission. He made a commission for probably doing 2 hours worth of work, and you actually advertised this for $88,000. You actually got it sold for 88,000, and you met a buyer on Meetup.com. And I want to talk a little bit more about Meetup.com here in just a second, just so people are familiar with what that is. But that's pretty cool in itself, and it literally took you from start to finish less than about 3 hours that you maybe spent on, and actual hours with maybe doing some driving and whatnot. You said took about 6 hours or so. That's pretty good, especially. Well, let me back up here. You used Best Transaction Funding to do the same day close. So you didn't use any of your own money on this at all. You just had them come in, use their funds, and you just walked away with a nice little profit check, which we'll show here in just a second. And you just contacted them, and they charged a fee to use their funds for a day, and you just closed the transaction. And for those that are listening right now, HUD deals do not have deed restrictions on them. That's why James was able to use a transaction funder, because there's no deed restrictions on HUD homes. So how easy was it just going through the process through Best Transaction Funding and getting the deal closed and taken care of through the title company? Was everything the way you imagined it would be?
Yeah, it was absolutely smooth. Those guys are great. Like it said in my bio, I'm one of those people that I dropped out of high school my senior year and started my first business. That was just in the cards for me. So I've got that kind of mentality, and I've dealt with customer service and everything, and so you really know what it takes to make a customer happy. When you find a company like that, you know immediately, and you know what they're about and trying to get done. And Best Transaction Funding definitely struck me that way. I got their name off of the GLM training. They're the first and only people I called, and they think they're in New Jersey, and I'm in Boise. So instead of going to somebody more local to me, I figured I'll just contact them. I'm in another country anyway. So as soon as I contacted them, I knew that it was somebody that I wanted to and could work with. So we got the deal done that way. I did put $1,000 of my own money in for the deposit, just to lock it in with HUD, because I wasn't doing it the way you guys teach and have your cash buyer lined up in advance. Now, I do have cash buyers in Boise, but this was kind of a spur of the moment thing. It's one of those deals where, like a lot of people, I've been through, I've spent $50,000 or more on my real estate, education. And that's just, kind of a rite of passage. I think you go through a lot of programs that don't work. This is the most succinct program I've ever seen, where you can literally, and the price point on it. I mean, it's just one of those things where, why in the world wouldn't you grab it, take a weekend to look into it, and then put it into effect? And that's exactly what I did. One weekend, went through it. The very next week, I started looking at properties and bidding on them. I took off the Belize. While I'm in Belize, I'm talking to my agent. I got him to put in a winning bid for me, and I got one of the properties locked up. I wasn't really in a position to be able to line it up through my cash buyers in advance. Otherwise, I would have used their funds. I wouldn't use my $1,000, But right. I just wired $1,000 to the agent and the title company, rather, and let them take care of that. Ideally, I would have already had my in-buyer criteria, and I would have put the bid in on a Wednesday or Thursday, so that I had the entire weekend to, after the bid was accepted, to contact the buyers and see if they wanted it and get their money to put down on it. So that would be the better way to have done it. But that's you can do it either way. And as far as the actual transaction, that happened in 48 hours, and now I was through Best Transaction Funding, and they provided me the proof of funds letter. HUD was fine with that letter, and we just did the deal. Now, I'll let you go ahead with your questions, Jason, but it wouldn't even have taken 6 hours, and I'll explain why it did when we get to that point.
No, go ahead, buddy. Yeah, hop into it.
All right. Great. Well, 3 hours on the actual deal itself, that's everything. That's looking at HUD. That's following along on the home store, using the app on my iPhone. There's only so many properties on there. You just watch what period they're in, and time it right and make sure that your agent's on it with the bid at about the right time. And that's, title company and being on Meetup and talking to the end buyer and all that stuff, about 3 hours. The reason why I say 6 with driving and everything, and I haven't even told you this yet, Jason, but there was something that wasn't on the PCR. It was an older house, and it had at one point at least, it had an old heating oil tank on the property buried. And there was a lead coming up out of the back that I had noticed it, but didn't think much about it. Well, they didn't know if it was decommissioned or not. So HUD had to go through this whole process where they had to check and make sure that at one time that tank had either been removed or decommissioned, and that made us have to extend. And because I didn't believe in everything, I didn't even start to try to sell this property, I have to admit, until I'd already had under contract for almost 2 weeks.
Wow.
So going through that whole process, getting an extension, everything, with all of that and the learning curve, it took me about 6 hours to get it done. So.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I say awesome as meaning like you were able to get everything done so quickly. It's obviously must have been a very desirable property for somebody to hop on it so quickly. And guys, sometimes you really have to do your due diligence on these properties, like James. Even if you are maybe in a different country, I would just have the realtor run by and take photos of everything that you could think of on the property, the backyard, the front yard, the side yards, all the bedrooms from different angles, especially if you're in a different country, maybe even have them walk through and do a quick video for you. It doesn't really have to take up too much of their time, and you can get all that stuff done. The other thing too, what James was talking about in the beginning here is if you are out of the country and you can't fly back for some reason, you could always assign what's called a power of attorney or limited power of attorney. And you could talk to your title company about this, but you could have limited power of attorney to where you could have somebody you trust. Typically, I would have the real estate agent sign the limited power of attorney, and just I would just go that route, have them sign on your behalf. You could actually get a wire into your account. But there's definitely different ways you can do it, and we talk about that within the program. And I don't want to take up too much time with James here on diving into that. But let's hop into here. This is the actual check that James received for $6,616.85. Now, guys, this is the net amount. Since he used Best Transaction Funding, they obviously charged for their fee, but after it was all said and done, James made roughly about $1,200 an hour for spending on this transaction, and I believe you have quite a few more of these in your pipeline, correct, James?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm already looking at ramping everything up. Boise's not a large market, so. This would be, I could do one of these a month. I don't know a lot of people, unless they're really extravagant, that have much more than $5,000 or $6,000 a month in bills. And so I just cover the basics. I could do one a month and sustain in that. Because there's, like you guys said from the very beginning, there's not a lot of competition in this. You kind of think there would be. But maybe it's just that they don't have somebody pointing out the mechanics of it like you and Clint have done so well. But and real quick, going back to meetup.com, how I got rid of the property, kind of skip over that. But what ended up happening?
Let's show.
I was about to go into my, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Let's kind of show people what Meetup is here. Here's the front page of Meetup. It automatically syncs to where you're at. So if you're not in Noblesville, Indiana, that's where I am. You could obviously put in your area. So if you want to put in Boise, Idaho, you could do that. But sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make sure people knew what meetup.com was. So go ahead, tell us about meetup.com and tell us how you found your buyer on here.
Yeah, Meetup is one of my favorite new things. Doesn't matter what you're looking for. If you're looking for private money, go on to Meetup and join a wine tasting group or something like that would attract high net worth people. I mean, I'm just getting started on a meetup, but that was the first time I'd ever signed up for it. And yeah, I was actually looking for. I knew I was going to be coming back into Boise, and I was looking for a RIA. I'd never even attended a RIA in this town, and so I was on Meetup looking for one, and I signed up for and then put my profile on there and just mentioned, hey, by the way, guys, I have below market properties if anybody's interested. And that same day, somebody else that had just signed up, he works for a local tech company, and the guy's investing in his IRA, and he had signed up on Meetup that same exact day and saw my profile and contacted me the very same day that I put my profile up, and said that he wanted to see what I had. And I just said, well, I just so happened to have this one, and I'd been sitting on, I'd already gotten the winning bid on that property over a week prior, so clock was ticking on it. That's another great thing about it. They give you, over a month to get a bid. I mean, man. So even with me totally slacking, this guy gets a hold of me. I'll show him what I got, and this is, I'm flying back in. By the time I get off my flight, he's telling me he wants the place. He'd already been out and looked at it. He hadn't even been inside. He just wanted it. It's just what he was looking for in the right area. So
wow,
he wasn't a very savvy negotiator. He pretty much told me he wants it, and if I need to pay you more, I will.
Wow, that's great.
No, that doesn't happen all the time, but he was a great guy. And we also found out something else, some other interesting things that he can do in his IRA, and I won't go all into it, but it's going to be an ongoing relationship with this guy.
Wow.
So he ended up, like I said, even at 88% at the HUD, he had 70% of after repair value in that house. He got it for idiots, and the house right next door to it, it was almost identical, a little bit nicer maybe, but as far as way out, almost identical. Had just gone under contract after being on the market for only 12 days for 125.
Wow.
So he was all over it.
That's great.
That's right next door. So yeah, so he got a good deal. I think he's probably just about finished with the rehab on it now, and he's already bugging me for the next one. And in fact, I do have the next one under contract. I just got the winning bid on one in the neighboring county last week. So
that's awesome. Congrats, buddy. I'm proud of you. I know when we were talking in Vegas, you were super excited about doing this and being able to do it from another country and whatnot, and that's great. I'm real proud of you for getting this all done. And this whole meetup.com thing, I think I've briefly heard about it, but until you said something about it, I was just like, I didn't really know too much about it. But for people that are looking to go out there and network with other people, and you could do all of this. So did you talk to this person while you were in Belize, or did you talk to them when you were back in Boise?
I talked to them on Meetup while I was in Belize.
Oh, wow.
Meetup has they have an app too, like everybody else. So, I love this time that we're living in, because I got my iPhone, I've got the HUD Home Store app on there, I've got my Meetup app, and I could have closed this entire deal literally from my phone using my apps.
Wow.
Dealing with the agent, all that stuff, everything could have been done on my phone and will be, going forward. But Meetup is awesome because it doesn't matter, like if you're just in a town, maybe if you travel as much as me and Jason do, you're just in a town that maybe you have to end up spending an extra day that you don't really have anything to do. Go to Meetup and find a group to connect with, and high net worth people or just other investors or strategic alliances. I mean, you can find it very quick on Meetup, and it doesn't matter where you're at. So great resource.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so. You find a cash buyer on a new site that you just put a profile on, and found a cash buyer while you were in Belize. That's awesome. So obviously when we say, hey, all you really need is your cell phone and a laptop with an internet connection, all of that information you're saying is accurate?
100%. I mean, you might have to fax documents to this and that, but in my case, I just got the agent to do it, and if he was a little whiny about it, I just said, look, man, this isn't a one-off. I'm going to be doing these. Help me make this work. I'm in another country. Help me make it work, and imagine what we can do when I'm actually in town. So he
Nice.
came around and he's all about it now.
Nice. And
Uh,
since you're going to be having a relationship with this individual and you're going to be doing more and more deals, some of the things like if you're in other spots, you may not even be like in another country like James is, like he's in Belize quite often. Even if you're in another state and you're trying to do this virtually from another part within our country, and you are unable to get to a fax, all you need to do is have a DocuSign or a VeriSign account, and you could literally just sign everything from your phone, or you could sign things from your laptop. So you don't. So just in case, like if there is a fax machine that's not available, you can do everything through DocuSign or stuff like that. All you need to do is just obviously prepare everything properly with your realtor or your point of contact, and you're good to go. So that's stuff that you can do, and I'm sure James is going to be utilizing that within the future. But it's just stuff to make things easier, and I think there is an app for that too. So it sounds like James is just going to be able to do everything from his iPhone. He doesn't probably even need the laptop. So um, you could do this, guys, I guess, with just using your cell phone. But no, I highly recommend
I,
cell phone and laptop.
I even deposited a check with my iPhone. So there you go.
Nice. Nice. There you go. Even so, guys, seriously, the steps are just iPhone. That's all you need. Or I don't know about Androids or anything like that. I'm an iPhone guy myself too, but it definitely with this day and age with the technology advancements that we have, you can literally do stuff with your fingertips on a smartphone. So very cool. And guys, James has given us his contact information to give out. So if you guys would like to get in contact with James, he's got some really cool things that he's working on in Belize. Some really cool real estate projects. So if you would like to speak with James about some of those opportunities, or you would possibly like to ask him something about this deal, James, I'll just kind of let you. Talk real quick about how people could get in contact with you and kind of what you're looking for. You're looking to do some stuff in Belize, possibly some other partner stuff. So I'll kind of let you kind of take it away here before we wrap it up.
Yeah. Just real briefly, what we have in the works is the island of Ambergris Caye in Belize is just got voted the #1 island destination in the world by TripAdvisor for 2013. And it's a scuba diving and general lifestyle mecca down there. And we're partnered up on a major mixed-use development on the southern end of the island that is just going public literally next month. It's been in the works for over 8 years. I've been involved for over 2, and we are raising investors' funds and placing investments down there. So if you know anybody, if you've ever been to Belize, if you've ever been to Ambergris Caye, that it's a place you want to go back to. And the tourism is going crazy, and we're feeling demand down there. So if that sounds interesting, or you know somebody that would be interested in looking into it further, please go ahead and contact me. This is my obviously personal email address. So I assume that if you're on this webinar that you're a classy individual because you're following Jason and Clint, and that you won't spam me or anything. And if you do, I'll tell Jason on you. So, you'll incur the wrath of Jason Lucchese.
Yeah.
But no, just be kind. Just be kind. Go ahead and give me, feel free to shoot me an email or call me, and with any general questions that you might have. And if you want general market information on Belize, the best resource to go to is realestateguysradio.com. Some of you might probably listen to the Real Estate Guys. Great show. I recommend everybody listen to it on iTunes or whatnot. But realestateguysradio.com. Just go to markets, and they are the experts on Belize, and all the information's right there. So
Very cool.
Appreciate the plug, Jason.
Oh, absolutely, buddy. I was watching the video. James sent me a really cool video. And the stuff they're doing down there is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. My mom and my sister have been down there to Belize before. It was probably about 8, 10 years ago, and they just absolutely loved it. And seeing what James is doing down there, wow, it's just incredible. And I highly recommend. We've gone over some of the things before in the past with ROIs that we're able to do. If you're interested in hearing more about very good ROIs, I would definitely get in contact with him immediately and see if you guys can strike something up. It's a great opportunity. So um, I think that's about it. We went over a ton of content on here. James, I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to go over this information with us and share all this information with us. So thanks again, man. Any parting words that you want to leave with before we go ahead and end everything?
Yeah, again, just thanks to you and Clint for sharing what you guys have figured out the hard way. People just it's served to them on a silver platter, and because of that, they just don't value it enough. If you take this program, um, you can get it done in a weekend. You can go through everything twice in a weekend if you want. If you apply for next week, it's only a matter of maybe a week or two before you do a deal. Most likely, if you have, if you work it. But like I said, I could easily, a smaller market like Boise, I can do one of these a month, without cutting into my schedule at all, and that one deal pays the bills. So frees me up to do all the other things like leads or whatnots, just monitoring the HUD Home Store site and doing what Jason Clint teaches. Simplest deal I ever did, right, Jason? So
That's
I
great.
appreciate it.
Well, thanks for your time, James. I appreciate it. And for those of you that want to reach out to James, his information's right there. It's James at live.com, or you could call him at 207 200 4172. So again, guys, thanks for your time, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks again.
Cheers.